All right, let's get started. So, hello everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where in the world you're dialing in from. It's morning over here in California. My name is Brian Crotein, and I lead partnership in business development efforts here for Caspio. Thanks for joining us on today's webinar. We're going to be discussing how you can unlock new business opportunities, as a partner at Caspio. Again, my name is Brian, and I consult with our partners and potential partners on whether working with Caspio is the right choice for them. So we want to make this really interactive for everybody. So please go over to the chat, say hi, drop us a comment, leave questions in the Q&A throughout the course of the event. We'll be monitoring that, and we'll try to do our best to get to everybody's questions and comments. And lastly, thanks again for everybody for making the time out of your day to be here today. So to begin with, and while others join in, we just have a quick poll here to just see how familiar those on the call today are with the low code and no code space on the various platforms. So let me get that pulled up here. We're going to launch that. We'll give everybody a moment to answer, and then we'll show the results. So are you a beginner? Are you an intermediate? Or are you an expert? Great. And we have the poll results coming in. We'll give it just another, let's say, 10, 15 seconds. Thank you, everybody, for participating. All right, so looks like we have our results in. Oh, they're still coming in. Nice. All right, we'll keep it moving along. I'm going to end the poll here, and we'll expose those results. Very interesting. So it looks like everybody here, most folks are in the intermediate stage, which is great. I think today will be a good introduction as far as the webinar is concerned. And it looks like many of you are somewhat familiar with the low code space, so that's great to hear. And I'll stop sharing the results here, and we'll get started. So as an appreciation for attending today's webinar, we'll be offering all the attendees these exclusive pieces of analyst content from Forrester and IDC on the low code space. So you can dive deeper into the space after the webinar. All right, so for today's agenda, we have an information-packed webinar for everybody here today. So I'll just quickly share the agenda and get you over to our wonderful presenters. So my close colleague, Nick Sangui, who leads our partnership and alliances efforts here at Caspio. Hi, Nick. We'll be starting off by sharing what we're seeing in the market in terms of challenges and how a leading low-code platform like Caspio can help address those, and how you as a partner can help build new opportunities with it. And then that'll be followed by a couple of demos actually, by our wonderful technical evangelist, Ned Paich, who's going to share some different apps that he has built on the application on Caspio. They're beautiful applications, really excited to showcase those for all of you here today. That'll then be followed by a Q&A session. So please keep the questions coming throughout the webinar, and please use the Q&A button at the bottom of your Zoom screen to do so. And like I said, we'll do our best to get to all of them by the end of the webinar. If we don't, I'll personally reach out and answer your questions myself. We'll also be sharing the recording of today's webinar. So be on the lookout for that and share with your colleagues. And yeah, so with that being said, I will now turn it over to you, Nick, excuse me. Hey, Nick, over to you.
Thanks. Thanks, Brian. Hello, everyone. I'm Nick Sangui, and I lead alliances here at Caspio. We're all very thrilled that you all took out the time from your day to hear from us on today's webinar. And as Brian mentioned, please keep it interactive. share your thoughts with us on the chat using the chat button. Share any questions as they come along during the webinar with us using the Q&A button. We'll try to get to as many of the questions as well by the end of the webinar, right? So, okay, so now to get into the presentation, and I promise to keep it brief, and then so that we leave more time for looking at some of the exciting apps that Ned has developed for showcasing today. But to quickly get into the presentation, Caspio, as some of you already know, is one of the leading low-code, no-code platforms. And today we'll discuss how this can be a big opportunity for you as our consulting partner. And some of you on this call, as we noticed from the poll, you might be already experienced with Caspio as well. For you, this presentation can still be a powerful tool to use in sales pitches to your clients. So with that, let's get started, Brian.
Got it.
Okay, so many of you indicated that you're familiar, at least at an intermediate level, with the low-code, no-code space. But do you know how big an opportunity it presents? This is, in fact, the next major wave of technology, like the waves of mobile and web that came before it. So in fact, Gartner, as well as many other analysts, but Gartner specifically predicts that 65% of all application development will be on low-code, no-code platforms in 2 years' time. And this is because the business demand for applications is exponentially greater than can be met using traditional legacy modes of software development. So low-code changes everything. And for you as a Caspio Consulting Partner, or if you were thinking of becoming one, these are some of the advantages that you can obtain using low-code. You can accelerate your app development by up to 20 times, making it truly agile and allowing for real-time collaboration between business and IT. You can expand your labor pool because on low-code platforms such as Caspio, business analysts, product managers, and even junior technical resources can build applications. In times like today's, when strong technical talent is difficult to recruit and retain, this can be a competitive lever for you in the marketplace. Finally, our platform is on the cloud, so you don't have to worry about infra, hosting, security, DevOps, etc., and just focus on your development. Add all of this together and your cost of developing apps goes down drastically, thus allowing you to compete better and win more deals. Now that you know the importance of low code, let's move on to why Caspio. So we've been one of the first movers in the no code space, and we've been perfecting our product for more than 20 years. One of the reasons why it's the most full-featured product in the market today. We also have 15,000 customers in 150 countries worldwide, and we've been consistently ranked amongst the top low-code and no-code platforms by both analysts and users. Among our differentiators are the fact that we don't charge on a per user or per seat-based pricing model. So you and your clients can scale to thousands of users and not see any difference in pricing. And we can confidently say that we are the price leader. That leaves you more room for margin and consulting services on the project. Caspio applications can be deployed anywhere on your website, on your client's intranet or content management system in a matter of a couple of clicks, as Ned will show us later today. And last but not least, we're standards based. So your tech staff can be productive. The learning curve is much shorter. They can be productive very quickly without having to learn new technologies or frameworks, as is the case with many competitors. You'll be in great company should you choose to partner with Caspio. Here are some of the consulting firms that choose Caspio, the likes of Deloitte, TCS, Fujitsu. And it's not just these big logos, mind you. There are many small to mid-sized consulting firms that in fact have built their entire business around Caspio as well. Here's a quick snapshot of some of our marquee customers. In fact, Forrester's latest report states that Caspio has the greatest number of customers and the least amount of partners. So that presents a great opportunity for you as a consulting partner. We also cater to a wide variety of different use cases across all functions. Some examples of these, which you can see on this slide, and some of which Ned will be showing to us later today. So this, what it does is, in effect, it allows you to enter into a customer account with one use case and then later expand across the board within that customer account. We also offer some of the strongest security, privacy, and compliance in our space. And that's one of the reasons we are especially relevant, and we especially appeal to regulated sectors like healthcare, life sciences, government, financial services, etc. And Caspio, of course, it is not an island in itself. We understand the reality that today's applications need to talk to a variety of different applications at your customers' end, be they other SaaS applications like Salesforce or HubSpot. We, in fact, out of the box, provide integrations to a variety of cloud storage providers, SSO, single sign-on providers, payment processors, as well as 2,000 other applications using integration tools like Zapier and Tigromat. And for whatever is not built in, that provides you an opportunity to build custom integrations using REST APIs and monetize those integration opportunities. And as I mentioned earlier, Caspio has been deployed in 150 countries around the world. And that's because of the fact that we offer strong localization capabilities across languages, locales, and regions, etc. And it's very easy to build those localizations. We also, in fact, offer in-country pricing from markets like Australia, South Africa, and others. We have one of the strongest support systems in our space as well. In fact, we challenge you to compare us versus our competition to see how easy and quick it is to get in touch with our support.
All right, thanks, Nick. That was awesome. So before we go on to the next couple of slides, it's time for another quick poll. So I'm going to pull this poll up quickly. Give me 1 second here. And the poll question is, please pick the tool or tools that you're most familiar with or have worked with on this list from popular low-code or no-code solutions. And if there's a tool on here that is missing from the list, feel free to share it over the chat. This will help us provide you with better competitive analysis. And we'll wait just a moment here for these answers to trickle in. All right, we have 55 answers here. This is great. Thank you, everybody, for participating. I'm going to end the poll and we'll continue on. Let's share these results. And look at that. Interesting. Caspio, QuickBase, AppSheet,
and Zoho.
Familiarity with and Zoho, yeah, quite a very familiarity with all the tools. Oh yeah, Zoho was down there. Sorry. There we go. Nice, fantastic. All right, Nick, I'll turn it back over to you. I'll start sharing this.
Right. Yeah, and saw some of the comments as well for some of the other tools. So thanks everyone for sharing your experience with the variety of different low-code, no-code tools. So that, in fact, brings us to our next slide, where we're going to share some competitive intelligence with you. And I know that already there was one question in the chat. Will these slides be shared with everyone? Yes, these slides will be shared with all our registered partners after the end of the call as well. And the recording will also be sent out to all attendees. So on this slide, what we wanted to show is a very high level view of our comparison. This is what we've heard from a lot of our prospects and other partners as well. So we've prepared this high level comparison, which shows that it shows that we are the price leader. Secondly, we are the leader in terms of standards as well, in terms of how many standards we support and open frameworks we use, as opposed to custom proprietary languages and frameworks. And also that we are the leader when it comes down to security, compliance, and regulation, which is again top of the mind for everyone today, with all of these hacks and cyber crimes being committed. This slide, which will also, of course, once you receive that, you will see that on the left are these links, which will take you to detailed comparisons of Caspio versus, say, I heard Claris, I heard NAC being mentioned, QuickBase, Zoho, etc. You'll be able to go down into these links and look at 50 reasons, 50 different comparisons between Caspio and each one of these tools. So that should help you in arming you in terms of when Caspio is the right fit for you and your customers. As a partner, apart from the benefits we've already mentioned, you can generate a stream of recurring revenue through project, providing development, application management, support, as well as training services on Caspio, on and around Caspio applications. And some of the other benefits that you'll also get as a partner are a free developer instance with almost all the features of our highest paid plans, so that you can develop as many apps as you need, you can demo them, etc. Free certifications and training. And this is besides a 20% referral fee for deals that you refer to us. And all of this is available to you completely free of cost as a partner. Customers have saved millions of dollars using Caspio. In this case, Honda deployed 20 Caspio applications within a matter of 3 months, and supporting over 2,000 employees across 12 divisions. Emory Healthcare rolled out a full-scale financial analysis system, which is now used by over 70 operating units. And there's tons of other case studies and resources which are accessible from this slide, as well as from our website as well. But this slide kind of lays it all out in a handy manner, especially for resources that might be relevant to a lot of our partners. Of course, Ned will be showing us just in a couple of minutes some of the best apps from our collection to leave you with some ideas on how you can build apps for your customers as well. As part of next steps, we recommend you to go to our partners page on our website at www.caspio.com and express your interest in becoming a solutions partner if you've not already done so. And we'll reach out to you to schedule a one-on-one discussion and get you signed up as a partner. Happy selling with Caspio.
All right, thanks, Nick. That was great. So should you have any questions for our partners team, Nick and I are easily reachable. Our information's at the bottom there. You can also find us on LinkedIn. And with that being said, it's now my pleasure to introduce Ned Paich. As I mentioned, he's the technical evangelist here at Caspio. Ned is a Caspio expert. He leads our live YouTube sessions every Monday, a lot of our trainings, and he's been with the company for 13 years now, which is pretty crazy. Ned and I, so Ned will now, he's now going to go in and demo some apps across various use cases, such as education, healthcare, finance, and government. Really beautiful apps. Excited for him to showcase them here today. And I'd just like to remind you really quickly, that, keep the questions coming. The Q&A feature is live, so feel free to share any questions that you may have using that button at the bottom of your Zoom webinar, and we'll be sure to cover them at the end. So on to you, Ned.
Thanks, Brian. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Give me 1 second. All right, please let me know if you can see it.
We can.
All right, thanks, Brian. Hey, welcome everyone. So my name is Ned. I'm a technical evangelist here at Caspio, and my role at the company is to teach people how to use the platform. In the limited time that I have today, there's no possible way for me to show you everything on the platform. Nevertheless, I'm going to attempt to show you some capabilities that hopefully after today's webinar, you'll be able to sign up and explore the platform on your own and hopefully be able to build some nice and robust applications. So for my presentation today, I've split the webinar in 2 parts. In the first part, we're going to take a look at some live examples of the applications that I've prepared. And in part 2, we're going to log into Caspio and I'll show you how some of our customers go about building some of these interfaces. So for my first showcase, I put together a healthcare application. We do have a lot of customers in the healthcare industry. Due to HIPAA compliance, since Caspio is HIPAA compliant, you're able to build nice interfaces for patients to log in, sign up, doctors to log in, be able to oversee patients. So in my first example here, I have the ability for patients to log in. And what you're seeing in front of you is a Caspio login screen. As a patient, I'm also able to sign up for a new account. So we can do a self-registration as a patient. Let me go back to my login screen. And I'll quickly log in as a sample user that I've set up today. Also, let me just preface this by saying that all of the data that you see for this healthcare application is fictitious data. There's no PHI here. So I will go ahead and log in. And as soon as I log in as the patient, I am able to see just some basic stats about my vital signs. We're doing an average here on blood pressure. We have average weight, average temp, and average pulse. As a patient, I can see my profile. And if I want to be able to update my profile, I can click on the edit button, which would pull up a Caspio update form. And here as a patient, I have the ability to update my profile. What's really great about Caspio is that all of the applications that you develop can be completely transparent and seamless in your own website to the point where the end user has no idea that they're actually accessing the Caspio application. Because of the high customization in terms of aesthetics and layout, you can lay out these forms to look any way that you want. So there's really no limit in terms of customization and the aesthetics and how you want to make these applications look. Also, as a patient, I can go to my messages here on the left. And if my primary care physician is sending me messages, I'm able to retrieve those messages here using a very simple report. I can also open up a calendar to see all of my upcoming appointments. I can see my prior visits. So now on this webpage, I put together 2 charts to show you just how we can actually visualize the data using some interfaces here. This is a combination chart that you see here on the left-hand side, and I wanted to show a correlation between the weight and blood pressure reading, which is very typical. So if your weight goes up, there's a high possibility that your blood pressure is going to go up as well. However, if you do lose some weight, your blood pressure could also go down as well. The chart that you see here on the right-hand side is an area chart. This is showing all of the vital signs per visit. So we have pulse, temp, weight, and the blood pressure readings. And down below, we can see a tabular report that shows us the detailed breakdown of all of the vital signs. And last but not least, we have another interface here for test results. As a patient, I can pull up any of my prior results. I can look at my ultrasound results where I can see my impression and findings. Or if I have some lab work, we could have a PDF document here to download that shows the list of all of the blood work. So the interface that you see here took me 1 business day to develop. So once you get the hang of using the Caspio platform, you will be able to build these interfaces very quickly yourself. And in a few minutes, we'll log into Caspio and we're going to explore these data pages and interfaces so that you can see how they are developed. But all in all, it took 1 day to develop this. And that is the speed of Caspio, is to truly be able to build these applications fast and deploy them to your website instantly. I'll go back to my profile once again. And then for my second example, something slightly different, I wanted to show you a report that shows a physician's directory, just so that you can see the power of customization. Here we're using a grid layout. And inside each one of these boxes, I'm able to customize the look and feel of my data and how my data is presented. So if you have a need to build physicians directory or any other type of healthcare application, just keep in mind that you can customize these applications to your own exact business requirements. And also, if your clients have any specific needs, you can still rearrange this data and the content in the way that you need to. For my third example, I wanted to show you a basic sales CRM. I'm going to go ahead and log in as my sample user. And as soon as I log in, I'm taken inside a dashboard page where I can see a holistic view of all of the data. And all the data that you see here on the front end is being pulled from the Caspio database, which we're going to look at in just a few minutes. Now, as a user here at the top, you're seeing a Caspio search interface. I have the ability to filter my data. You're seeing 6 Caspio charts, and you're also seeing a pivot table down below, which shows all of the data in aggregate. So we have all of the totals. We can see all the sales reps on the left-hand side, all the months across the top, and all of the data here in the middle. Now, with the filtering capability, there are a lot of options on how you can filter the data. For example, I can pull down a list of all of the reps using a dropdown. I can select my rep name, and as soon as I hit filter, you're going to see how quickly all of the interfaces react based on that selection. And just so that you know how much data I have inside this table, I have almost 400 entries. And you can see how quickly we were able to pull that information. Also, if I want to do a date range, I can do that as well. If I want to further filter down my data based on the rep name and the customer, I can continue filtering my data, as you can see. And I can also reset this to go back to all the information to be able to see that displayed. What I like about the charts, my own personal like about the charts, is the ability to click inside a legend to show and hide these values and to be able to hone in on specific data elements. Gives you the ability to really filter the data and drill into something more useful that you need to see. Also, in the pivot table, we have the ability to click on each one of these cells. If I wanted to drill down on Alejandro's sales, I can click on that value, and that's going to show me a detailed breakdown of all of the sales across all the products, and be able to see the total and also the average sale across all of Alejandro's sales. And I can also go back to my pivot table. Another report that I wanted to show you is a tabular report. So let's go down here to customers. We have 3 filtering fields. We also have the capability to do advanced search. So if I expand that, I can show additional search fields. We have the ability for multi-select list box. So I can select and compare 2 different values if I wanted to. We have the ability to download the data in any one of the following 3 formats. It's either Excel, CSV, or PDF. If I filter any company, I can also close my advanced search. I can also do grid edit. Much like in Excel, we can click on these cells to make changes. And once you make your updates, you can exit. We also have the ability for bulk updates. So if I select all of my entries, I can click on the edit link. And now I can, using this pop-up window, I can now update my fields in a bulk edit if I wanted to. And very easily, if you wanted to go back to the dashboard page, you can always come back here and pull up that information. For the next example that I wanted to show you is an education industry. So we have a lot of customers and a lot of schools that use Caspio for various needs, everything from listing courses to having students sign up for courses. So here on this fictitious web page, I have the ability now as a student, if I wanted to see a list of courses, I have the ability to filter. I can choose a specific department. Or if I want to show all the departments, I can do that. But here's the beauty of Caspio. If you landed on this page, you would have no idea that this was built on the Caspio platform because it's completely transparent. As I said before, it's completely seamless. You can embed these widgets and interfaces in the background image or completely standalone, which gives you the ability to search. You can apply for a specific course. As a student, I can also sign up. Here's a Caspio sign up form. As a student, I can also log in. So here's a Caspio login screen. So that is on the education front. For my next application, which is slightly different, I wanted to show you how you can build a complete SaaS type application on the platform. The whole premise of this application is for users to be able to find personal trainers. And here we can search based on a radius search. So I can input my zip code and I can do a distance search. So if I want to find all the trainers within 100 miles, I can click search. And that's going to show me the list of all of my trainers that are near me. We're also doing some distance calculation to see who's the closest. If I click on the view profile, let's say for Sam Reed, and let's say I happen to like her profile and I'd like to schedule a workout, I can send her a message. And let me just quickly submit this form. So we'll say my name here. We'll say test. We'll put mp@test.com. And for my phone number, we'll just put something random and hit submit. What's going to happen now, and by the way, you can customize the confirmation message. What happens now is Sam is going to get notified in real time via email to let her know, hey, you have a new message inside the portal. Log in to retrieve that message. Now, as a new trainer, we can sign up for an account. But if I have an existing account, I can log into the application. So let's go ahead and log in as Sam Reed. And once I log in, I'm able to see my dashboard. Here I can see how many people have viewed my profile. What's really nice about that, we're just doing some basic metrics here. If I go back to the home page and let's say somebody looks at Sam's profile once again, that number should now increase to 11. So if I sign back in as Sam, you're now able to see 11. Really nice ability for Sam or any other personal trainer to see how many people are actually viewing their profile. We can see how many clients we're working with. So at the moment we have 6. We have a total of 4 sessions. So Debbie came in for 3 workouts. Larry came in for 1. We have 3 messages. If I wanted to retrieve that message that was submitted by me, I can go to my messages. And here's that latest message that came in. I can delete that message, or now I can contact Ned and scheduling for a possible workout. Now, let's say Ned does agree to come in for a workout. I can add him as a client. So here's a very simple submission form. Once I add Ned as a client, I can go over here to manage all of my clients using a tabular report, which has some filtering capability. And now for Debbie, let's say Debbie is coming in for a workout. We can go to details. And let's say they were doing occasional checks for BMI, okay, body mass index. And Debbie has a goal to lose a little bit of weight. And over time, we want to be able to track her BMI. So if I edit her details, and let's say we go down to 120 pounds, we hit update, you're going to see here on the chart how the actual graph is going down. So that is a positive sign. Okay, so that means our workouts are working and Debbie is able to accomplish her goals. If Debbie comes in for a workout, we can add a new session. And let's say Debbie came in today. Today's weigh-in of 120. And then we can add some workout details. Maybe we ran 3 miles. We hit submit. And I'm able to see that workout down here below. I can also modify that using an inline edit capability, or I can hit cancel there. Now, as a trainer, we can also go to profile. We can update our own profile if we'd like, and we can choose to decide if we want that profile to be available in the directory or if we don't want that profile to be available in the directory. Now, the way I made this application is using a completely freemium model, right? So if you wanted to create a SaaS application that's completely free, you can. You can also connect this with a payment gateway. So if you're using Stripe or PayPal, you can monetize and generate revenue if you're collecting, let's say, a small monthly fee. This application that you're seeing here took me 2 business days to develop. So if I really wanted to, I can launch this application as an MVP, as a beta, and to see if I gain any traction, right? So everyone knows here that if you're building public-facing applications and SaaS-type applications, it's all about the marketing. So if I do my SEO correctly and personal trainers find my website, there's a high possibility that they'll sign up for the account. And eventually, if I gain enough traction, let's say we have 1,000 personal trainers signing up, I may open this up to a monthly payment fee so that we can start generating revenue. Really nice way to build a SaaS type application using the Caspio platform. And a final live example that I'd like to show you is in the financial industry. Just a simple form that I built in Caspio. It's a wire transfer form, but I want you guys to be able to see the capability of the platform in terms of the aesthetics and the layout and how you can organize all of the elements. So here you're seeing different fields organized in a single column. We have our address field. We can also do conditional forms. So if you click on the checkbox, we can show and hide elements dynamically. Here are more fields here as well. And then we have some additional fields with some headings and also subheadings. And then down here below, more conditional. So if I click on this checkbox, we can expand and collapse an entire section if needed. And the form that you're seeing here, believe it or not, only took about 2 or 3 hours to develop. And that is with detailed configuration on these fields and how you organize the layout of the fields, including adding this background image and having a logo here appear at the very top of the form. So those are the live examples I wanted to show you today. What we're going to do next is log into Caspio, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to modify some of these data pages and these interfaces using our no-code point-and-click methodology. So I'll go ahead and log into one of my accounts here. So let me log in. And as soon as I log in, what you're going to see is we give our customers the ability to have more than one account. What's nice about having multiple accounts, especially if you're a partner and you have development teams, you can use one account as a sandbox account for all of your proof of concepts and prototypes. And then you can have a completely separate account for all of your applications that are live or in production. So I will go ahead and log into one of my accounts that I've set up for today. And as soon as you log in, you're taken inside the applications where you can see the list of all of the applications that you have developed. And in Caspio, it's extremely easy to begin developing a new application. You just need to click on this button here, Create App. You can begin by importing data either from Excel or Access Database, or you can start developing your application from a blank template. So if you begin this way, next step is super simple. You have to give your application a name. You're going to have your own naming convention. It really just depends on the purpose of that application. So let's say you're building a CRM. You can call it CRM. It's completely up to you. Once you click Finish, you're going to be able to see that container listed. And from here, all you need to do is click Open. And once you open the application, you're going to begin developing all of the objects. Now, I'm going to open up one of my existing applications. And as soon as you open up the application, you're always taken to the overview screen. This screen that you're seeing in front of you is mostly informational to help you keep track of your progress. So I could add some notes and say, today, we are going to see how to edit a Caspio form. And I can save my note. Of course, you can add multiple notes if you'd like. One of the most powerful features that Caspio provides is the ability to have unlimited developers logged into Caspio to build these applications. You do not have to be the only person logged into the same account to build and develop apps. Very simply, by going up here under Account and clicking on Access Permissions, we give you the ability to have unlimited developer seats, and you can invite as many people to your account as you'd like. So if you have an IT team, or if you hire an intern or a colleague, you can invite them to your account. So if I click on this button, and let's say I have a colleague, her name is Sarah Lee at company.com. You can predefine some of these groups. Each group that you develop or create can have its own set of permissions. If I add Sarah to this admin group, that means once Sarah logs into my account, she's going to be able to do everything. She's going to be able to edit tables, edit data, build forms, build reports, everything. My personal preference, what I like to do is place everyone initially inside this group called Everyone. This group has no permissions to do anything. So if Sarah logs into my account, she won't be able to do anything. And here's the reason why I like to do that. Once I send the invite to Sarah, Sarah's going to check her email. She's going to accept my invite, and then she's going to be an active user of my account. Now, here's what I like to do. I like to set the permissions on the user level. So when I click on that link, I can expand all of my applications, including that CRM application that we started developing. So if I give Sarah full control over that application, notice that she doesn't have full control over any one of my other applications, only the CRM. I can also expand all of my objects and enable these permissions on a granular level. So here, if I find a specific table in my account, I can select that table. These are the group's permissions, but I can override those permissions with the checkboxes on the left-hand side. So if I leave everything as is, and if I hit OK, once Sarah logs into my account, the only application she's going to be able to see is this one here. So if you're looking to collaborate and have multiple developers logged in simultaneously, this is a great way to manage all of the applications and work together on building new applications as well. So again, I'll reopen up my existing application. The metrics that you see here in the middle are just some basic metrics to let you know the stats about your application. But the most important place where you want to begin developing your applications in Caspio is always going to be the tables object. Tables are the foundation of any app that you develop in Caspio. That's where all of your data is going to reside. So if I open up one of my tables for patients, remember how I logged in as my sample user, John Doe? Well, here's John Doe's information in the database. He has his own password. We were able to log in and we were able to see all of this data on the website. In just a few minutes, I'll show you how we can pull that data on the website. But for now, all of the patient information resides here. If I want to modify my field names, I can go to table design, and here I can rename a field to something else. I can remove a field, or I can add a new field to my table. So just for fun, why don't we add a new field to this table? Okay, we're going to add a maybe mobile number, and I will move this field up underneath my phone field. Let's say this is a home number. Now for our data types, you can see a ton of options here on how you can customize each field. Okay, just to quickly summarize the data types, if you're looking to collect text data, you could choose between text 255 and text 64,000. If you're building, let's say, a sales CRM, the one that I showed you just a few minutes ago, and you have pipeline, you have forecast, you have revenue, I recommend one of the numerical data types so you can do calculations. Date and time is always good to have in the table so that we can track when something is added or when something is updated. Yes and no is a checkbox. File is attachments. So your applications could have images. You can have PDF documents. You can have Word documents. You can do list string, list number, and list date for multi-select checkboxes. You can do password. We took a look at the ability for John to log in using his password. So you have the password capability. In Caspio, you can also have different user roles. So if I log in as an admin, I'm able to see my own data. If I log in as a manager, I'll see different data and different functionality. And we also give you unlimited application users. Okay, so you're not limited to how many people can actually log into the application. It's always going to be unlimited. So even if your clients have 1,000 employees or 100,000 employees, they can all log in without you having to pay any extra per user fees. Timestamp automatically stamps the date and time. Random ID, auto number, prefixed auto number, and GUID are randomly generated IDs for primary keys. And then finally, we have a formula data type where you can add equations to do some complex calculations. Also on the table level, which is very powerful, is triggered actions. I should have saved my design because I did add my mobile. Sorry about that. Let me just add my mobile phone field one more time. Should have read that. So let's rename this to home phone. And now let me click on triggered actions and let me save my design. So triggered actions are extremely powerful. We can do logic on the table level. So if I click on the button here to create a triggered actions, we use Blockly framework to accomplish this. So the idea here is if I run the action on insert of data, update or data, or delete of data. So for example, if I insert, update, or delete something inside a patient's table, I can have something else happen in a completely different table. So now I can insert data inside a completely different table in my application. A lot of our customers do that for, let's say, Audit Trail. If you're looking to have a separate table that keeps track of all of the changes and updates, you can do something like that. Or if you're building inventory management systems, let's say you're building an e-commerce solution and somebody on the website placed an order for 10 of something. We can automatically, using a trigger, subtract that 10 from the inventory table. We can combine that with a checkbox to place that item on back order. And we can also combine that by using an email to notify the admin, hey, inventory fell below a certain threshold, add more items to the inventory so more people can buy that item. And these triggers will execute top to bottom. So once the first trigger fires, the second one will execute, and you can combine multiple triggers in the workflow. Let me go back to the tables menu and also talk about the relationships. So this is a very useful screen in understanding the schema and how all of the tables are linked together using primary keys and foreign keys. If you have a database background in Caspio, it's a traditional database platform. You can do one-to-one relationships, you can do one-to-many, and you can also do many-to-many. You can move these tables however you want. You can also expand the tables and collapse the table. In my example, when I logged in as the patient, I was able to see all of my visits, all of my test results, all of my messages, and all of my upcoming appointments. And all of these use a very simple one-to-many relationship because one patient can have many appointments, many messages, many test results, and also many visits. So that's a little bit on the table side. Let's move on to data pages. And this is where you begin developing all of those interfaces that I demoed earlier today. So all the forms, all the reports, all the charts, all the calendars, and it's very easy to begin building a data page in Caspio. You can click on this button here to create a new data page. I'm going to edit an existing one. So why don't we edit our patient registration form, which is this one over here. So I can preview this form directly in Caspio. Once I build it in Caspio, I can always preview my data page to see that form. I'm going to click edit. And this is going to open up Caspio's point and click data page wizard. This is Caspio's secret sauce and what gives us the ability to build these applications much faster than using traditional development. So all the interfaces that you see here on the left, you can select and you can create. Essentially, all an application is on the web is a collection of data pages. If you think about it, any application, so if you've used twitter.com or amazon.com or any real estate website like Redfin, Zillow.com, it's just a collection of forms and reports because there's always a need to input data and there's always a need to output data. So I'm just going to give you one quick example. Let's say we go to amazon.com and I want the ability to have a search interface. Let's say we look for a Kindle and I see a list of results. If you want to recreate something like that in Caspio, you can select a report, maybe using a list format or list layout. This gives us the ability to search, see the results, and drill into details where I can see the details of that product. If you're looking to place an order, then you might need to have a submission form, which you can select right over here. Okay. Now, in this example, I built a registration form, so I'm going to keep that selected. I'm going to hit next. And since I've already configured all of this, I'm going to show you that here, the first thing that you need to select is your data source. So when you submit the form, where do you want that data to go? So I selected my patients table because as a new patient, let me go ahead and log out. As a new patient, when I fill out that form, I want that data to go directly inside that patient's table. Okay. Here you can select a different style. This is for the aesthetics, the look and feel of your form. Caspio gives you some preloaded styles that you can choose from. Okay, each one of these styles has a different color palette. But if you want to fully configure your own labels, your own fields, and your own buttons, you can go to the styles object, and here you can modify the aesthetics even more. In addition to that, we also give you access to CSS. So if you do have a slightly higher technical acumen, you can truly configure these forms and reports to look like they're part of your brand and your image. Localizations, as Nick alluded to earlier, gives us the ability to change regional settings. So I can change the date format, I can change the currency, and I can also change the language. All of the data pages that you create are automatically responsive. So if you embed these forms into your own website and you change the width of the browser, you will see how all of the components automatically change based on the width of the browser. So even if you're on a mobile device or a template, you don't have to worry about it. Everything is going to be automated for you. Back inside my account. Here we go. Let's continue. And then simply the wizard is going to ask you, what fields do you wish to use in the web form? I moved all of these fields into my web form. Remember how we added the mobile field inside a table? Well, now that I added that field in the table, I can now include that field in my submission form. I'm going to hit next. And once you reach the properties section, here you can select your fields on the left-hand side, and you can make modifications to your fields using a very simple drop-down here to choose an element for that specific field. And notice how many different options we give you to modify each field. We can do things like text areas, radio buttons, checkboxes, etc. So now my phone number field, the mobile field that I added, is at the very bottom of my form. It's underneath my password field. And if I hit finish to save my changes, that field is going to appear underneath my password field. I'd like to move that field up a little bit so that it's next to my phone number field. Okay, so let me rearrange my field slightly. So I'll move that field up. maybe after my gender field. Okay. And all I'm going to do is modify that field to, in the advanced tab, I will just simply say I want the label to be positioned on top of my field. After my gender field, I would like to display my phone number field to be in the same row. So I will just say continue next element on the same line. And after making a few changes, if I hit finish to save, I can come back to my demo. I can refresh. And now you're going to be able to see that mobile field next to my gender field. So it's really that easy when it comes to modifying and organizing the way your fields are presented on the form. But what makes Caspio truly a phenomenal tool to use, and I've spoken to a lot of developers in the past, is the ability through extensibility to add industry standard languages such as HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and SQL. And by being able to add that industry standard language into your data pages, it allows you to create more dynamic functionality and more dynamic applications. It really removes a lot of limits in terms of creativity and innovation. So I'm just going to show you one simple example on the HTML and CSS side. If you look at this header above my form, let's come back into that same data page, click edit. I'll hit next a few times. We can insert what we call HTML blocks. And inside this HTML block, you can inject inline CSS. You can also reference an outside CSS style sheet. And you can also add your properties and your values for your CSS along with div or tables or any other HTML element. So just to give you a quick example here, let's say I modify this slightly. Let's say we put the background color to be black. Okay, which is hex code 000. And the color of my font, I'm going to make that white. So we have a nice contrast. So I'm going to add one more property and value here. Actually, I have it up here. So let me add my color for my font to be white, which is FFF. And with just a subtle change like that, I can hit finish to save, come back to my website, refresh, and now you're going to be able to see a black background with the label white. I can also add JavaScript to my data page, and I can also add SQL. I'm going to show you an example of how we can inject SQL once I log in as the patient, just so that you can see the power of the Caspio platform. As my last thing for today's presentation, I will log in as the patient, and you're going to be able to see these boxes at the very top. And all the data that you see here is using SQL to pull the data from the actual tables. Okay, so if I go back to my account here and we edit that data page, view profile, and let's navigate to our details page. Here we can insert what we call calculated fields. Okay, and inside that calculated field, I have a very simple SQL statement that does select average temperature from that specific table in your account, where patient ID equals the authenticated patient ID. So when this patient logs in, they only see that average temperature from that table just for their own unique ID. And then once you get that calculated value using the SQL statement, I can feed that inside my HTML block. So don't get overwhelmed by what you're seeing here. This is very simple. All you're seeing here is that box that's visible on my website. I'm using a div element, and I'm also using some inline styling to customize that box. And then here I feed those values from the calculated values here, or calculated fields, as parameters inside that HTML blocks in order to be able to display those numbers on the website. Okay. Can you also do it using a standard method? Yes, I can still display those calculations in a report to show that without any coding whatsoever. But if you do have a slight coding background, really, there are infinite number of possibilities of what you can do with the platform. And this is why I like to call the Caspio platform a developer's playground, because there's so much that you can do, especially if you just know some basic HTML and CSS and some basic, very basic SQL. So here I'm calculating my average diastolic blood pressure from this table where patient ID equals to patient ID. So it's basically grabbing that patient's average across the entire column. We're getting the average, and we're able to display that average right over here side by side with systolic and diastolic blood pressure. Okay. So hopefully you enjoyed my presentation today. I wanted to show you some live examples and also inside a Caspio platform, how easy it is to build out some of these applications. I will open up the floor now for questions. If you have any, please let me know. I'll be more than happy to assist you. Anything on the Caspio side or on the front end side, I'm happy to explain. So yeah, let me know. And thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thanks, Ned. That was great. And you know what? It looks like it struck a chord with the audience. We have some really thoughtful and great questions here. So we'll try to, we're kind of coming up at the end of the hour. We'll try to cover as many of the questions as we can. But again, you can always go to caspio.com, send us an email, reach out to us on LinkedIn, or email partners@caspio.com. It'll notify both Nick and I, and we'll be sure to get back to you. But the first question here, Nick, this one's for you. So the question is, Nick, do you have any thoughts on how partners should approach their low code or no code journey?
Sure. If you're starting new with low code, no code, what we would suggest is, and also if your customers are new to this as well, start small, keep the initial scope limited to maybe 1 or 2 use cases or 1 or 2 applications. Don't try to boil the ocean in the first round itself, right? Go for some quick wins where you can demonstrate how easy the platform is and to use, etc. Don't take a very complex process to begin with, and avoid too many integrations as well. So yeah, keep it simple for the first few rounds, demonstrate some quick wins and business benefits and ROI, and then start layering it out across various different functions and applications.
Great. And then that was fantastic. So just one other question here. So and this might be on the top of mind for a lot of you in the audience as well. So who is Caspio an ideal fit for? And in what use cases might Caspio not be the best fit?
Right. Caspio is at its heart a you can build business web applications using Caspio. That's what its main intent is, and data-driven applications, right? As Ned was demonstrating today, where there is either you're seeking input from users, you're providing output in the forms of reports, dashboards, a combination of the two, etc. So all of those are perfect use cases for Caspio. Some of the other points to keep in mind are where security and privacy is important. That's Caspio lends itself perfectly to those scenarios. Where scaling is very important to hundreds or thousands of users. Caspio is going to be your best value for money because we don't charge for a per user basis. And broadly for application modernization or cloud migration projects, where you're trying to move from a legacy, either like an on-prem application or any kind of legacy, even be they SaaS applications. But some of these SaaS applications also, as you scale them, start getting pretty expensive. So all of those types of projects are where Caspio would be an ideal fit for. And maybe some of the use cases where it is not a perfect fit is where if you're really, the main use case is a native mobile app with offline support. We don't do that right now. So that might not be an ideal use case for Caspio. Or where the applications absolutely have to be hosted on-prem, where your customer is clearly rigid about that requirement. Caspio applications cannot be hosted on-prem. They're always hosted on our multi-tenant cloud system or on a dedicated instance if you need one. Finally, I don't think people would consider Caspio for this, but just to lay it out there is for applications that are not really focused on data, but more are just either games or AR, VR type applications, or just heavy media, audio, video type applications. Those might not lend themselves well to Caspio either.
Great, appreciate that. And is this open source, or are you going to need licenses if you use this in corporate accounts?
Yeah, so this is not an open source system, just to clarify. We do have a variety of different paid options as well as a free trial that's available. For our partners, we do offer a free developer instance that's completely free as long as you're a partner of ours. And there is, by the way, no charge to becoming a partner either. But it is not open source, just to be very clear. And eventually, when you deploy your applications into production for your customers or even for yourself, then you would need a paid Caspio license to deploy those live.
Great. Ned, couple of questions for you. So, and again, I know we're running now a minute over, but if you guys have a couple more minutes, we can get to some of these questions. So this one's from Nathaniel. He's asking how to get, let's see, he's looking for advanced videos on custom design. Are there any
Custom
good
design?
resources for that?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Let me pull that up. Give me 1 second. I'll get that in just a minute here. And I will also explain a little bit about our live stream, which has been very useful resource for a lot of
Sure.
people wanting to learn how to use the platform. So let me move that here.
And just to be clear, right? I think the question was, what is our most advanced video, or in terms of design and all of that? I think that was a question from Nathaniel.
So on Mondays at 10 a.m. California time, we have a live stream. I'm the one who hosts a live stream. It's 1 hour long. Sometimes we'll exceed that 1 hour depending on questions and what we're building. So if you recall that application that I demoed earlier with the SaaS, with the trainers and radius search and logging in as a personal trainer, just this Monday, we actually developed that, and it took 2 hours. It's very condensed. It's very fast paced, but the good news is you can watch this video at your own pace to learn how to build that entire workflow, that entire application from start to finish. The upcoming session that we have, you'll see here, you can click on that. Actually, I can share that. I think I can share that with everyone today. So let me click on that link. So if you'd like to attend this coming Monday and attend that session, you're welcome to. You can set a reminder. I'm just going to paste this in the chat window for everyone. Hopefully I'll see you guys there. You can say hello if you do join in.
And people are able to ask questions live as well, right?
Oh, absolutely. And it's interactive.
And they're able to see for those who missed the live stream, those are recorded and posted on our YouTube channel as well, right?
Yeah, but to answer the question on the most complex and advanced video that we have, all of these are fairly advanced. So for example, if you wanted to see how to add SQL to your data pages, I did a 1 hour session on that, on how to display those values in boxes. Okay, so it's a bit of an SQL here. If you wanted to see formula data types, we did a session on that. You can gamify your application using Unicode emojis, which is pretty fun if you're looking to make things interesting for the end users. We did a Google Map integration, database design, and HTML and CSS tips and tricks. That's actually one of the popular sessions, how you can inject HTML and CSS basics and how to polish up the look and feel of your forms and reports. So all of these, I would imagine, are fairly complex. And I know there was another question on how to integrate with third-party solutions. So I'm going to answer that one right now. You can use REST API inside Caspio if you'd like by going to account and clicking on access permissions. Here under web services profiles, you can create a new service profile. And here you have access to SOAP or REST. You get your own client ID and client secret, and that allows you to connect to outside platforms to send data back and forth in real time. If you wanted to, you can do stuff like that. If you don't know how to code an API, you can also use Integromat. You can use Zapier, that's built in on the Caspio platform. I did a YouTube video on that as well, on how to use Zapier integration with Slack, Facebook, and also a built-in feature in Zapier to translate the language to Spanish. So if you submit a Caspio form in English, it goes to Zapier and it comes back to the Caspio table translated into Spanish. Okay, so that's another way to connect to over 3,000 software and other vendors out there using Zapier or Integromat. So if you watch this video, you'll see how we can do that in Caspio easily. So check out the playlist and live stream. Every Monday, we have a new topic. Most of these are very advanced. And if you guys would like to get trained on the Caspio platform and all the features, we do host our daily training sessions. So under resources and free online training, these are completely free. We have the sessions at 6 a.m. California time or 10 a.m. California time. We have our basic class, we have our intermediate class, and we have our advanced class, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And we cover just about every feature on the Caspio platform in detail. And hopefully after getting trained on the platform, you'll be able to get good with the platform and build these applications in similar way that I have or that I can. So, okay. So I know the question on REST API came in integration, so I wanted to kill two birds with one stone with that one. So
nice. That was great. Thank you. And I think some folks, they love the applications that they saw you present today, Ned. Will this demo data be available along with the templates?
I just realized that I wasn't sharing my screen, so I apologize for that. I was talking. I thought I was sharing
I
my
noticed
screen.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, somebody should have interrupted me. Let me share my screen really quickly one more time. If you go to our YouTube channel, you're able to see the list of all of our previous live streams that we did, including what I was mentioning before, the session on SQL, which is 1 hour long. If you scroll down a little bit more, you'll see Zapier video. You'll see HTML, CSS tips and tricks. And a lot of these videos that you watch, including how to customize web dashboards. So if you go back to my sales example here, if you wanted to learn how to build something like this with a dashboard where you combine all of these widgets together, then you can watch that video. But lots and lots of cool videos to watch and digest for advanced topics, including the upcoming session, which I shared with you guys. If you guys want to come in this Monday, what we're doing this Monday, just so you guys know. Also, before I show you that, here is under resources. If you click on free online training, we have our basic class, we have our intermediate class, and we have our advanced class that you can sign up for. These are completely free. And we cover just about, like I said, we covered just about every single topic on the Caspio platform. And under products, we have our app templates. So this is a gallery of all of our ready-made applications that you can demo. Okay, you can click on each one of these. You can do a live demo if you'd like to see what the application does. And then if you like the application for learning purposes, or if you want to use the application as is, you can request the app, we'll upload it to your account, and you can deploy the application. But what we're doing on Monday is we're teaching people how to deploy these RMAs to their own website. Okay, so if you attend this session this upcoming Monday, you're going to see how we deploy these RMAs to the web. Okay, it's one of the frequently asked questions from our customers. Okay, now that I was able to share my screen, I will go ahead and stop sharing.
No, that was great. I think just to add there, we've had a couple of questions around an app store, excuse me, similar to what you see maybe on Salesforce.
Right. So
and yeah,
I can take that.
Let you take that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is, that's definitely been brought up by a number of our partners, and it is in the works. I don't have a clear, ETA for when that will be live and launched, but we will keep all our partners who sign up with us, we'll keep them posted via our partner newsletters on a regular basis as to the progress of that app marketplace. But that's definitely something that we want to launch sometime next year.
Yeah,
2022.
And I would say if you've built an app that you really like, that you would like to share with the world, or you would like others to get exposure to, keep that in your back pocket for when we do create our app store. We'll give you different options for monetizing and making some money off of your applications. Right. And maybe we'll throw some of Ned's applications in there as well. Who knows?
Yes.
So,
sure.
And open all suggestions. Yeah.
All of the apps that you develop as a partner are available for you to, once you develop something for one customer, that can basically be leveraged as a template for the next, 5, 10 customers. So it can all be reused as well by exporting and importing into other accounts.
Great. So 2 quick questions here. Are these, I think the visuals that were being showed, or the app examples that were being showed, are they being backed by Power BI?
I believe that's a question for me. No, they're not powered by BI. No, this is all powered by Caspio. So it's our own proprietary way of building these applications using these data pages to deploy them onto a website. So nothing here is powered by Power BI. Okay. The data is hosted with AWS, and using these data pages, which are built on the Caspio platform, we are able to embed these data pages into web pages and make that data available to the end users. That's how you make the data available for anyone who visits your website, using forms, using reports, calendars, charts, and any other widget that's available in the data page wizard.
Great. Yeah, we have a question from Michael here. He says, or he's asking, how are errors in syntax displayed to me?
Give me 1 second. So usually when you're trying to make an update, if you notice before, if I was reading correctly inside my account, let me actually share my screen before I start talking and make that mistake again. every time you try to make a significant update or a change, you're going to get a pop-up here to let you know, hey, are you sure you want to cancel? Yes. But we have built-in guardrails throughout the platform. If you're looking to update the, let's say your primary key to something else and the system doesn't allow it, you're always going to get a pop-up to let you know, hey, not possible due to these dependencies. So every step along the way, you shouldn't be able to delete something or update something if it doesn't affect something else in the workflow of building the application, right? We definitely don't want to have something like that. So I don't know if I can think of an example right now live in the training class, but if I open this, and let's say we go to tables, and if I look at my patients table, and say, for example, I try to change this to auto number from random ID to auto number, and I hit save, it won't let me. It's not possible because a random ID is a combination of digits and characters, and an auto number is a simple sequential number that starts at 1 and has an increment of 1. So that won't happen. So here's a conversion error pop-up to let you know that that conversion is not possible. So we have these built in throughout the platform.
Yes, maybe the question might be errors in actual syntax, like in the HTML or CSS or SQL. Do those errors get trapped and displayed?
Yeah, so if you make a mistake in the HTML, you'll know about it pretty quickly. Like, for example, if I do something like that and hit preview, okay, you can see what happens to my form because you didn't properly close that div tag. But you can inspect that using the element here on your browser. So if you hit F12 on the keyboard, if you're using a PC, it brings up this real-time inspection tool. And now you can inspect every single element of your submission form if you'd like. And hopefully you can find that mistake that you made. Okay, but this doesn't look good. This will prompt me to go back to my account. Hey, there's something wrong with my design. Let me come back here. Oh, I missed a closing bracket here. So let me close that, hit preview now, and you can see how it cleans it up. Okay. So when it comes to HTML and CSS, you'll know pretty quickly, if the end result, it looks the way it's supposed to, or the way you imagined it when you wrote the code.
Right.
Hopefully that answers the question. Let me know if there's a follow-up on that.
And back towards that, I also wanted to mention, I know that since we're already like about 15 minutes over and we can stretch, we'll stay back, but just for those who need to log off, you can also follow up if there are any questions of yours that remained unanswered. You can also send an email to partners@caspio.com. And or we'd just love to hear your feedback as well. What did you like from today's webinar? Maybe what could be improved, or what you would like to see in other future webinars. There's a survey is going to pop up as soon as you close the webinar window. But you can also feel free to email it to us directly as well at partners@caspio.com. Okay.
Exactly. So, yeah, Nick, this is our first partner-related webinar that we've hosted since joining. So we plan to do many more of these, and would love to get your feedback on how to improve these and what topics you'd like for us to cover in the near future. We're also planning partner-related webinars or joint webinars with our partners. Joint webinars. And so if you're interested in doing that, let us know, and we can discuss, what we want to talk about and how to go about that. So
let's cover just some of these other final questions that are there. Are these backed by Power BI? Was a question, I guess.
Yeah, that was answered. Yeah, so that was answered.
Okay.
So they're powered by Caspio. Let's see. So looks like Douglas has had some issues here respecting email deliverability for emails that's sent from Caspio data pages or triggers. The log emails show that the email was sent, but the user never received it. They're not in the inbox, spam, or any other email client folder. It would be good to map out. Sorry, it would be good maybe to map our own or the customer email server to be used sending notifications from the Caspio apps. I think it's more of a suggestion and something that we'll definitely look into, and we'll talk with our technical team and try to resolve the issue. I don't know, Ned, Nick, if you had anything you wanted to answer there. Just wanted to make sure
can it be mapped to their other email servers? Ned, do you know the notification function? Or I think there was some question on SMS as well.
Mhm.
My apologies. I was answering a question privately here for somebody else in the Q&A section. So I think when it comes to email and SMS notification, it's better to be addressed by the support team because
Okay.
they can look into the back end and find out what the end result is, because there's no way to troubleshoot that right now. So it could be something with the back end, or maybe something with that specific account. It's really hard to tell.
Great. And I know that this question was answered in the Q&A, but will partners be listed on the Caspio website? I feel like that's an important one to cover.
Yeah, so that directory is currently actively in the works, the partner portal and the directory. So it should be, in fact, I've already been reviewing, the kind of work in progress, and it's going through some of the approval and final review stages. We should be able to launch it ideally in early Jan. We expect to launch the initial partner portal and the partner directory, and we'll keep all our partners posted through our partner newsletter as well. So.
Exactly. And if there are deals that you have for us that you would like to be credited for that referral commission, you can just email us individually or partners@caspio.com. For the time being. I know it's a little manual, but we're just getting this thing stood up, and the partner directory is in active development. So I'll have that for you here soon.
I think, and Ned, did you cover where all can it be deployed? Did you cover that question already? Sorry, I was also paying attention to answering some questions live, so didn't see whether you covered that or not. But
I apologize for that. Really quickly, so when it comes to deployment for each one of the data pages that you create, for example, the registration form, you would hit on the deploy link, you would enable deployment status, and then Caspio gives us, in this case, 5 different deployment methods. So if you're looking to embed that form into your own website for your client, let's just say, you can grab the embed code. It's 2 lines of code, or if it's stretched out, it will be 1 line of code. And all you have to do is really copy and paste that into either your HTML, or if you're using a simple website builder like Weebly, Wix, Yola, Webflow, Squarespace. Caspio is compatible with many of these website builders. And once you paste that code into the actual HTML document or that website, you're going to be able to see that form seamlessly embed. If you don't have a website, let's say you wanted to do an email blast and share a simple link, you can grab a direct URL link, copy it, put that in the email, blast it out, or bookmark it to the browser. And now anybody who clicks on that link will be able to open up that form and be able to see it. But the more popular deployment method is using the embed deployment method, which seamlessly embeds into any web page. So in my live example here, if I go back to the home page, I need to log out. So my apologies, because it's keeping me logged in. So let me do a quick log out here. Come back here, new patient. And there's that same form, right? It's just embedded in this web page, register.html. So what I teach people is when you're designing your applications and your web pages, keep in mind where you're going to embed these data pages. So leave some space open for where you plan on embedding the data pages. So when I was designing this, I left this open because I knew ahead of time that I'm going to put my registration form on this part of my website. Okay. And I got lucky because this web template, when you log in, came with this navigation menu here on the left-hand side, which is handy to have. So when you have the navigation menu on the left-hand side as part of your web page or your website, then you can quickly toggle back and forth and then embed these Caspio data pages into that part of the website. So all the interfaces that you see are built in Caspio, deployed on a website using the embed deployment method.
That's great. And I guess just time for one final question. This was around workflows. I think a couple of questions came up around workflows. So, can we, for example, build out approval workflows, say for if an approval is above $1 million, it needs to go to the director for approval, etc. Can those be built out?
Yeah, you can do that, especially using the triggers. I can show you, it's not exactly what you're looking to do, but I can show you one manual workflow and one automated workflow using a different demo that I have. So really quickly, here, I'll pull up another app example that I have saved in my bookmark here. Let me see if I can find it quickly here. Just bear with me for a second. Training management application. So this one here the whole premise of this application is to have three different types of users that can log in. So let me move this tab here and pull up my bookmark menu. If you guys have to go, I understand, but since somebody wanted to see that, I'm happy to show you instructors and then one more tab for the admin level user. I have all of these bookmarked to my bookmark menu here. So admin. All right. So we have three different users. We can sign up as a customer, or we can go back to the login screen. And when I log in as the customer, it happens to be Mary. That is my sample user for this application. And as soon as I log in, I'm able to see a list of classes in the directory. And I can sign up for a specific class. So if I want to attend that class, I can go to the submission form. And here you can see how we're connected to the payment system, either to pay by PayPal or a credit card, right? We can also do some basic calculations here. If I select a couple of these drop downs, we're doing a total here, and then we can pay for that class and sign up for that class. Now, the idea here is when you're looking for classes, each class has a class capacity. So if this one has a class capacity of 30, once 30 people sign up for that class, this class will no longer be visible here in the directory. And that's actually managed on the instructor side. So if I log in as the instructor, Jane is going to be able to see a nice dashboard here. We can see how many classes are in progress, submitted for review, and require revisions, and also how many courses are published. I can see how many people have signed up for each course, and I can also see by the topic, the course topic itself. Now, if I'm adding a new class to be published in the directory, I can go to classes, I can create a class, and I can quickly fill out this form. So if I just make something arbitrary here, let's just say we set the class capacity to 20, okay? Cost of the class can be $199. We can also include an image, topic, app development, date of class can be, let's say today, class level beginner, and now class status. If I submit this for review and I hit submit here, oh, the image is required. So let me just find just a random image here. I submit that for review. The email goes out to the admin to log in to either approve that class or reject that class because it requires additional revisions. So if I log in as the admin now, who happens to be John is going to be able to see a much bigger dashboard here in just a moment. Once we log in, you will be able to see a much more immersive dashboard for KPIs, because as an admin level user, we want to be able to track all the revenue across all the classes and students. But if I want to approve that class now submitted by Jane, I can go to classes, pending review. And here's the one that was just submitted by Jane. I can go to details. Okay. And from here, I can now reject that class, requires revisions, which opens up an additional dialog box for me to communicate back to the instructor why it requires revisions. Or I can publish that class if I like the way it looks. Okay. So we hit update. And now that class is going to be available here in the directory for other students to sign up for. I just have to find it. Okay, so here it is. Obviously, the title will need to be a legible title and something more accurate. But now anybody with that class capacity of 20, there's a trigger on the table that checks against that class capacity. So if 20 people sign up, that trigger is going to change the status to full. And if the class now capacity is set to full, this class will no longer be visible here in the directory. But now anybody can sign up for that class. Once they sign up for the class, the instructor will be notified via email to let him or her know, hey, you have a new student who signed up for your class. Log into your account. And now we can go ahead and go to the homepage, dashboard. We can go to our classes. Let me see all of my published classes. So here's the one that the admin published today. I can go to details. And we can see that nobody has signed up for the class just yet. We have no customers, right? Sadly, it's not gaining enough traction. But if I do sign up for that class, let's just say we add some random information here. Expiration date, 0223. This is not really set up to accept any payments, security code, something random. We're going to hit submit. Okay, you're successfully registered. And now as a trainer or as an instructor, we're going to be able to see that first registered member for that class. So with the relational database, Caspio allows you to do one-to-many, many-to-many, one-to-one. So you can really link and associate data from multiple tables and display that data here on the web. Unfortunately, I didn't have enough time to show you everything on the platform inside the account because there are a lot of objects here that need to be talked about. But if you attend our training classes, you will be able to learn all of these different elements and how they can be integrated with your applications. Okay, all right.
Brian, you're on mute.
Excuse me. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Ned, thanks, Ned, for answering those questions. And thanks for everybody that stuck around. There's still 27 of you. That's impressive. We went 26 minutes over. Sorry, we ran a little late this time. We'll try to condense it to an hour next time. But really appreciate all your questions. I think they were some really great questions. And we ultimately hope that you got a great takeaways or got some great takeaways from today's webinar. So thank you, everybody, from the bottom of my heart for attending, commenting, sharing your questions. As I mentioned, we'll be sharing the webinar recording with all of you after today's session. And as mentioned at the end of the webinar, as we end this, you'll see a brief survey. So please let us know your feedback using the survey so that we can improve the experience for you going forward and know or have a good direction as to what we should be talking about in our future webinars. As mentioned, you'll also get analyst reports from Forrester at IDC on the low code space. The Forrester report is brand new. And you can go to Caspio.com to check us out, sign up for our partner program if you haven't already done so. And again, special thanks to Ned and Nick and to all those attended.
Thanks. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for all your feedback. This is, as Brian mentioned, just the first one of many more webinars and sessions to come. And we look forward to hosting other webinars focused on sales, marketing, project management, support, all of the works pretty much. And thanks, Ned, for a great session as always.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Hopefully I'll see you on Mondays in our live streams. If you do swing by, say hello. You'll get to see me, and then usually we'll build something new and interactive. Yeah.
Great. All right. Have a great rest of your day or great evening. Get some good sleep. Have a good day's work, and we'll talk with all of you soon. Thanks again.
Take care. Happy holidays, everyone. Bye.
Yeah. Happy holidays.
Bye-bye.